who killed a cat?
Oh!
Because of the noise you asked me to do.
Okay. Okay, so...
That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
We are now recording. All right. Last time on Curse of Strahd, you took a moment in Kresk. Despite its hold-up disposition and rather countryside kind of vibes, the people in there are proud and they stand by their independence, believing that they are, while not entirely free of Strahd's domain, they are self-preservant and they have their own ways, and in a way they're kind of stuck in it. You helped the Baron, and you helped with the delivery, did some shopping, met a few interesting characters, and are now equipped with winter clothes. You finally found Ez after some time in whatever state she was in. Drunk, murderous, whatever have you. Gave you some insight about hunting vampires, and even helped Hilde decide what she should do next. It's been made very clear for some time that her connections to her patron had been waning. We turned tail, went through the old Slavic road, and are now heading back to the Bone Grinder, where the source of these dreams seems to be coming from. We begin play in the cover of night. The cover of night is a cloak of darkness, darker than black. It sweeps through these woods and takes those of slumber to some balmy elsewhere, far away from this place. There are those stalwart some who know better than to accept right away, you among them. Sounds and strange shadows can trick the mind into creating greater beasts and terrible nightmares. At one point, a horrible thought crosses your mind. Could this land create the things I am imagining? An untimely coincidence occurs. Shifting movements rustle deep in the woods, and these jarring thoughts rattle the spine far worse than the cold. Tonight, it is just you, your friends, Ezmerelda, and 3 strange refugees fleeing to Vallaki. The night is yours, but there are a few things you must consider. How are you going to feed yourselves, let alone 3 new people? How will you shelter in the night? And who will be taking watch? The floor is yours.
Coleman kind of looks back over at the camp. He just kind of finished pulling over the wagons and making sure that everything was still set into position, and kind of one last look over the campsite. He seems very on edge and very alert to the fact that they're very not alone. And he'll approach the others, I guess, as they're kind of gathered around. We've got to figure out what to do about those lots and those bumps in the night out and about. I'm fine taking a first watch if you'd like to settle in.
Yeah, I can take one too, whenever.
I can help supply with food before I go take a rest.
Ooh, with your spell thing?
Yeah, with Goodberry.
Good. Do you have enough to give to the people?
Well, I can make 10 in total.
Ooh, okay.
So it would be enough for everyone.
I suppose that'll do. It's not exactly satisfying to eat, but it's good.
I think it's fun, like saves a lot of time.
Yeah. Oh, I know Yogg doesn't really like it, though. I just hope he's okay with it.
That's all right. He's got bigger things on his mind.
That's true.
Yogg is off in the corner, kind of tending to the fire. He recently bought some spices that he's currently still appreciating, but the lack of boar and meat in his cauldron's kind of dampering the mood.
Okay, I'll take my rest first.
Should we do 2 people at a time for
We certainly can.
watches? We don't
Might
have
be
to,
smart.
but
No, I think that's a good idea.
okay.
Whatever's out there is out there. And we're pretty close to the bone grind.
True.
I'll be honest, I'm not really excited at the idea of going to bed with those visions and dreams.
All
If
right.
we see you like moving around, you want us to wake you up?
Wait, who's doing the first watch chance?
I'll take the first, and then you can join me. Hopefully it's
I'll
boring
skip.
enough, and if you fall asleep, I'll let you sleep. Savvy?
Savvy.
And he kind of nods, and Zhana, maybe you should go and present those lots with the berries. It might come off as rude if I did. I don't know.
You're probably right. Excuse me.
Ez is currently sitting with the 3 refugees. They're recounting some terrible tale as Ezmerelda kind of sits and nods. And you come on the scene.
I'm about to go to bed, but I wanted to give each of you some sustenance before I do. And then I extend my hand full of berries. It's not much, but it's something.
How many do you offer them? There is still the matter of feeding yourselves.
Well, I can make 10, and I give 1 to each of us, which will supply for 24 hours.
All right. They look at these berries like, just 1 berry?
Yes, it's magic.
Magic? Oh, they kind of like look at each other a little skittishly. Ez gives a nod. They kind of look at you. They trust you. They humbly consume.
I'm glad.
They have no way of sheltering themselves from the cold. How will you guys fix this shelter situation?
Well, I suppose I can build like an igloo situation before I do.
A what?
Zhana,
Well,
would you even know what an igloo is?
Oh, I assume it's something very similar to like a mud hut, but made of ice.
We call it a mud hut.
Well, I could, but I could improvise with snow.
That seems like a lot of work. I suppose if you can. Ultimately, I was thinking we've got the wagons set up as they are. We'll be able to shelter underneath them. We've got some blankets, and we'll put a fire nearby. It's about as warm as we could get.
But what about the other 3? Should we have them stay with us?
Oh, I meant them.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think Ezmerelda will let them stay in Nevada. Sticky fingers and all that.
yeah.
Still, they're welcome under ours.
That sounds good then.
All right.
But we're in for a little bit of a colder night.
They camp under the wagon. Blankets are thrown to kind of prevent from the cold. Meager means, but it's something, and you have the campfire nearby. You've sheltered them. Now yourselves are another story. Sure, your winter clothes will prevent you from the cold, but sleeping in it, that's another story.
Well, if people don't mind, I can actually grow like foliage inside our cart. That way it's insulated.
Sure.
It'll take a moment.
And I'll go and cast Druidcraft, make leaves everywhere in this cart.
You make
everywhere.
you make aluminum foil leaves everywhere. No, I'm kidding. You make foliage everywhere, and you bring a nice little bed of leaves onto the cart.
There. All done. Should we head to bed, or is there anything else we needed?
Oh, who's taking second, third watch?
Well, I can take either second or third.
At this point, Ezmerelda comes back into the party, and she sits down by the fire.
How'd it go?
Well, they say it's some kind of ghost. He disappears by the morning light and haunts the roads just before sunset. They say a lot of good folk took to the forests and riverbanks to hide. Others got trapped by the roads. No idea what happened to them. They were chased by a rider atop a steed of gray shadows, a long, mean, curved blade in hand. Said they watched their uncle lose his head. The rest was just their travels. What do you make of it?
He sounds like my card.
What do you mean?
A horseman on a sad road. Something like that.
Oh, that's right. I remember now.
A horseman rides a broken road in a hopeless village. His pain will fall before a grave, and there you must speak aloud his name.
Okay.
But what's the fella's name? Even if this is him. Which, well, we don't know for certain.
My guess is as good as yours right now.
I mean, we could just make a giant list of every guy name we can think of. And then just...
Actually, a little... He's headless.
That
Right?
does complicate things a bit.
Sounds like he died at some point. If it's him, if I'm believing all of this.
Right, and...
Believing. Like, she cocks an eyebrow at you.
Wait,
Well, cool.
think-
What do you mean?
I think we actually only encountered 2 headless people.
2?
Ismark being one.
And the gentleman in the tower that Nyla also opened.
Oh.
And I didn't ask his name.
What if what if this headless horseman fella's some sort of Vistani?
What if it's Ismark? We never found the rest of them.
And Chance kind of sucks on his teeth a little bit and frowns. He does not like that subject.
Sorry, but it's thought.
Who has the head?
And she kind of notions to her wagon. Ezmerelda does. She still has the head, but she gives Chance a look like, what would a Vistana gain from running a... Well, hang on. And she thinks about it.
I don't know exactly. I figured if something was headless and running around killing things, it might be just on the level as a chicken without a brain.
Are you trying to say something?
No. What I'm saying is if something is headless and killing folks, then maybe it's not thinking straight because it's got no brain to think at all.
And you think Vistani have no brains at all? Is that it?
I don't think
I don't think he was saying that.
Well, technically, you don't really need a head to think.
Kind of gets a long look to Zhana at that, like, what?
Ezmerelda shoots you both just a dirty look. Look, I expected this from Barovians. I didn't expect this from you.
What the heck? As you clearly know more than anybody here about what's going on. I don't think anyone's suggesting that you or any of your people are brainless.
It's fine. Whatever. I'm gonna get some shut-eye.
Do you want to take a watch? I think we were trying to do 2 at a time.
2 at a time.
Yeah.
All right, who takes first watch?
I think Chance and Hilde, and then Zana's taking, I don't know. So what? Zana's taking what, second?
Or third.
Or third?
2
after-
watches ought to do it. That is if we're splitting them up into 4-hour sections.
Oh, okay. That's true.
Yeah, I'll take it with Zhana.
Okay, then, good night, everyone. Be safe.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of claps you on the shoulder, Nyla. You get some shut-eye. You've been through a lot recently.
Oh, okay. Thanks. She kind of smiles a little bit.
What's that? Is that friendship?
It's happening!
Ezmerelda is gonna go to her wagon and get some shut-eye. All right. First watch. Both of you, roll me a d20.
Right.
All right. As you guys sit there, keeping vigilant, I'm using your passive perception, because I doubt you guys are going to actively keep watch for 4 hours.
Sure.
I know I wouldn't. Looking around, you kind of watch the woods. There's a moment to chat if you'd like.
I think probably at a moment where we're maybe tending the fire and it seems like the noises have kind of died down a little bit. We've lost some of the alertness. I'll kind of take a moment to prod Hilde about how she's feeling. So, hey, and his hands are in his pocket, his coat's pulled tight around him. How do you think we'll go about fixing whatever's happened? The connection thing.
I don't know. I'm just hoping that when we get to the mill, we'll have our answers there. Because right now I have no idea. I have no way of talking to the Raven Queen. I'm scared of going to sleep. Because every time I do, when I wake up, I just feel like she's further away.
Well, I suppose most folks go through a bit of that. Maybe not a god, maybe something like a parent or the like. But look, whatever happens, you're more than your powers. You're more than whatever that connection is. You're still Hildegard. We'll solve it. I have faith in that. But no matter what, don't forget that, eh?
Always stick to who you really are, right, Chance?
Don't ever change. Gets this kind of sly grin.
Speaking of which, I've been meaning to ask you something.
A loud sound echoes in the woods.
Shit.
I thought that was somebody sneezing and multiple sneezes. All right. Oh,
right,
shit.
Right when I'm about to say something. Okay.
He perks up for sure. He's like, "Was that Nyla?" Looks over.
I look towards the noise.
She gets these fits in the cold. You see, I've grown a keen eye, and he's looking at. Is that not it? At this point, he wants to definitely start looking around.
Perception checks, both of you, please.
Yes.
Oh, no.
too.
It's loud. It's coming from maybe 15 meters away, you're not sure? But
Shit. With a gust, I want to douse the fire.
All right, you do so. Roll me a stealth. Actually, let's call this a group skill check.
Okay.
I need 3 passes before 2 fails. It's very small, low DC. Flavor it for me. What are you doing?
I'm gonna help Chance dousing the fire. I'm gonna wipe out our I got a 23, so I guess, I don't know, I find all our tracks, especially the one coming from the road, trying to wipe it.
Yeah, using a nondescript cantrip, you kind of cast your magic and shadows fly from your hands and cover the ground, and you douse the fire as well, kind of lightly darkening the place, using a survival check. Chance, feel free to roll.
All right, cool. He's going to try to start moving around to the people in the campsite, and very quietly trying to like kind of put a hand over their mouth and wake them up with like a finger to his mouth, like quiet as a mouse. Something's here. Stay low. Be quiet. So first, I guess he'll wake up Nyla.
All right, Nyla, you kind of
I'll like yank my hand off his mouth, like, that's a creepy way to wake someone up.
Shut your mouth. And he'll kind of slink off and try to start waking up some of these civilians as well with the same kind of thing, just rousing them as quietly as you can.
All right. You may have succeeded with Nyla. She is trained enough to understand when a situation gets dire, but the civilians, the little girl to be exact, is like, what's going on?
Kind of winces a little bit, but
All right, Nyla, you're awake.
Okay, because I guess my intention was to see if I could tell where it was coming from.
That would be a perception.
To kind of see if we could hide better from that direction.
I'll accept that, sure.
Okay, cool.
Succeed.
Oof.
Yay!
It's coming from the southwest, and it's heading north, and it's skirting right along your way. And Nyla, you look deep into the woods, and much like that terrible dream you had, you think you see antlers and this great big frame and these burning red eyes.
So I guess I'll like point whoever's kind of like looking or getting out to kind of point and be like, that direction type of thing, and like point the direction it's going.
well, I guess maybe I could wake up Zhana and Yogg if I'm still kind of doing my past, and then
All
maybe
right.
give them a moment to do something. Yeah, so I'll find Zhana and Yogg and be like, boy, quiet now. Something's danger close.
All right, Zhana, the check is yours. It's in your hands, pass or fail.
I'm going to do a stealth check. In tandem, I'm going to cast Pass Without a Trace.
Excellent.
Yes.
Conceal us.
The best spell ever.
Stay low. And then I kind of like bend the shadows and like wreath it around us and hide it from where Nyla and everyone's telling me where the noise is coming from. That's a plus 10, so it's a 16.
Thank God.
Oh my god.
Good thinking.
You meet the DC.
Yay!
This large creature, whatever it is, the size of a thick tree, antlers getting in the way of branches. It seems to move so beautifully through the forest that you don't hear any other collateral outside its massive footsteps, which, for you, Nyla, start to wonder if it's making intentionally. Moments go by. Nothing. Not a trace. And you think it's okay to go back to sleep. There's about 5-10 minutes left on your shift, Hilde and Chance. You can trade out now, or you can finish your conversation.
The startle of whatever that was is probably enough to Chance's thinking more about the thing, less about his conversation.
Yeah, Hilde's just gonna look at him and like, how about we talk later?
Sure. Good thinking, by the way.
Yeah, you too. Did Zhana go back to sleep?
I probably did, so I can refresh my spells for the day.
Okay, it's fine. Never mind. Like, she looks over at you with a little smile, and then she said you're asleep. And like, okay, whatever.
Zhana and Nyla snore.
Yeah.
Mostly Nyla.
Mostly Nyla.
I guess it,
God, I
it does
relate
sound
to
a little
that.
different. Anyway,
Sorry,
I'm probably
what?
tired. Best we get the others up. I don't think they'll mind starting a little early.
You see by her face that she looks a little stressed out. Like, she probably doesn't want to go to sleep right now, but doesn't want to be exhausted either. So,
Yeah, we'll swap out for our shifts.
All right. Ezmerelda gets up. All right, which one are you two? And she points back to her Vardo. Bed's open.
I think she's talking to Chancer, Hilde.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
sorry, I
Let him
didn't hear
take the
that.
ground. And she kind of closes the door behind
didn't-
her.
Now, Hilde, there you go.
fine.
Ez opens the door for you.
Okay, I pass by her, and I just look at her and I say, so I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I don't know what's gonna happen to me, but I just need to let someone know. She's gonna pull out the diamond from her pouch. If anything happens to me, this is right here. And then she like puts it back in her her pocket, and she's like, it's gonna be really important. This is where it is if you need it, if something happens to me.
We won't let it come to that. And she puts a hand on your shoulder. We've had our differences, but now's not the time for parting words. Get in.
Oh, and there's, I won't be far. Give me a minute. And there actually is something that I forgot I wanted to go do.
All right. Chance, you start wandering away from the group.
Bum, 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 bum. I am going to step away from kind of a little bit out of range, maybe behind like one of these larger trees, and just kind of sit for a minute. He kind of rifles through his pockets and pulls out the dream catcher, as well as this kind of lens that's been socketed into a necklace.
That's right.
He puts it down, all of it kind of in front of himself, and he takes the lens, and he's just kind of quietly to himself. He's just thinking about all these old sort of sailor tales of looking into the depths, and he is going to attempt to cast clairvoyance, which takes 10 minutes to cast.
Okay. Whom are you looking for?
He is looking for Ismark Kolyana, or Kolyanovich, or
Kolyanovich.
thank you.
Fun fact, everyone. Last names for women usually end in Anna, whereas the men take on the Vich. Strahd
Oh,
Von
interesting.
Zarovich, Irina Kolyana, Ismark Kolyanovich. Fun fact.
Well, I suppose actually, no, I'm rereading this. Sorry, I'm thinking of the spell scrying. I guess this is clairvoyance. It's a little separate. All right, so this is just going to be something different. I think. I apologize.
That's all right.
This is the first time I've had to do this.
It's wonky, you know?
All right, no, okay, so he's just going to practice something instead. He is going to try to push beyond his current sight. So he closes his eyes for a moment, and he's listening kind of to the edge of the forest and in the darkness beyond it. When he opens his eyes, he kind of takes the lens specifically to his right eye, begins looking through it and feeling through it, and he's going to try to see if he can kind of bodilessly wander through these woods, maybe even in the direction of where that thing had gone.
Because the place is unfamiliar to you, some of the details get blurred. It feels like, kind of like how Frodo puts on the ring and the world looks like it's disintegrating away, but nothing ever leaves. It's a world of mists and shadows and harsh brights and dark darks. You find yourself in these woods, wandering in this strange place. There is so much detail here. It's jarring at first, and you see things moving through the woods. Among the things you see moving through the woods are several packs of ravenous wolves that seem to be hunting and finding these creatures, great and small. Barovians that have lost their way, probably fleeing from the village. Some of them look possessed, even holding pitchforks and torches, and the wolves go take them down. Somewhere wandering the woods, you see a man with a long sword and a very dead look in his eye, and at one point, you swear you thought you saw 3 pale, snow-blind eyes sunken in black sockets looking at you. You turn around quickly, fearing that you might have been spotted or something might have seen you, and there is nothing there. Silence takes you for a moment. And your vision, after 10 minutes of wandering, snaps back into your mind.
Kind of like rubs his hands on his forehead, like it kind of hurts a little. Oh, damn it! All right, that's enough of that. Stows it away and kind of a heavy exhale against the tree. And after about like another 5 minutes of kind of sitting there, he'll wander back to the camp.
All right. Meanwhile, Zhana and Ez.
So what was that thing earlier?
Thing?
Oh, you were probably asleep. Apparently during Chance's and Hilly's watch, there was like a horned creature over in that direction. We managed to hide away from it.
Horned creature's unfortunately vague. I'd tell you more, but...
It had red eyes, if that helps.
She gives you like a half-hearted grimace. Not quite.
I don't know what to tell you anyway.
It's all right. And she's got a couple books in her lap, and she's kind of flipping through them, doing her research, and she's got a bottle of wine beside her that she's casually nursing. She offers you some.
Oh, thank you. I'll have a sip.
I won't tell if you don't.
So what are you reading?
Van Richten's Guide to Monster Hunting. These have been my Bibles, if you will. She kind of gestures to 2 books. They are very well loved. Pages have been added, pages have been torn, the spine is well used. There's notes all over the book that she's made of herself. It's, best I got when something doesn't exactly come to mind. And if we are traveling down that road to the Bone Grinder, believe you me, I'm gonna make sure we know exactly what's coming.
The last time we were there, they were hags. 2 of them were slain, but one of them escaped. We could be walking to another hag situation. You should be prepared at least.
And you managed to escape with your lives?
Yes.
I'm impressed. Hags aren't easy to take down. Worst of all, they can change their face. Make them look like one of you, and she pokes you kind of gently in the shoulder, or one of them. Fishing them out ain't easy either.
Is it some kind of magic that they use?
Oh yeah. You want to talk magic? You can make deals with devils, you can make deals with fae. But hags have their own system. Some believe that they hold a power above both of those combined.
That is troublesome, or at least worrying at the least.
You ask me, it's all a bunch of hogwash. But don't be mistaken. Their power is not something to be reckoned with.
Well, we beat them before. We'll beat them again.
And how? She agrees with you. And around this time, Chance kind of starts wandering back.
You're not in bed, Chance?
I'm on my way. Sorry, just needed to think for a minute.
Just be careful. We don't know what else is out there in the woods.
No, we certainly don't. And he'll kind of shake his head a bit and go back and fall asleep near the cart.
Right.
Like as he goes inside the cart, I kind of lean over, side whisper to Ez.
Did he seem troubled to you?
Rightfully so.
What do you think he saw?
No idea. Though if you ask me, 10 minutes is a while to take a leak.
I hope the fairies agreed with his system. Anyways, we should focus on the watch at hand.
And I take my ship.
Alright, both of you, D20s. The night passes by. Zhana, you start hearing strange animal sounds like wow, wow, Wow. Wow. Is that some kind of owl, you wonder? You look around, what the fuck is that? You kind of look around and you do in fact see, it's just like that night before. You were passed out, but you've kind of caught glimpses of it before then. Just like that night on Yesterhill. There were animals in the woods with these hollow yellow eyes, just round as the moon, sunken into these black silhouettes, and they've just been watching you. And one flies over to a nearby tree, and it just starts making that really bizarre sound. It would be funny if this weren't such a dark situation, but it calls for a second bird, and then a wolf, and then a lizard, and then a squirrel of some kind, might be a chipmunk. A woodpecker and an owl flies by, and soon this tree is just kind of neatly decorated with these little yellow eyes that just watch you specifically, Zhana. Not Ez. You watch. She gets up, she moves, she paces and sits down, but no, they're watching you.
Ez, we're not alone.
She kind of gets up, looks around.
They're watching me.
She looks around. What are you talking about? What is? Where?
There.
She looks at the tree. Zhana, I don't see anything.
Maybe he was playing tricks on me.
You say that, but you see several of them. Several dozen of them.
They're there. Still, you don't see them?
Ezmerelda pulls out her silver hatchet and her sword. She's like, all right, I'll go check it out. And she wanders up to the tree very cautiously, and you watch her get inches from these animals. What's wrong? Doesn't she see them? They're right there. She passes by the animals, and they move out of her way casually, and she kind of circles the tree. She even, cuts the tree at one point to make sure nothing strange is going on. She looks at it carefully. No blood. No nothing. Where exactly do you see them? She comes back around, and once again, they move out of the way. They're still staring at you.
They're in the branch. They're all around you.
I can't. She kind of whiffs the air with her sword, and they don't move. They actually start walking towards you, Zhana.
So I probably put my hand immediately onto the sun sword. It's kind of on guard.
Zhana, I don't understand. What's going on?
They're coming towards me.
Ezmerelda starts sniffing the air. I don't get anything. What is this? And yeah, they're right there. That little wolfie's coming right up to you. Some of the birds are flying around on top of the wagons. They're all watching you. They're getting closer.
I'll probably produce flame one of them, and I fire a bolt of fire.
Which one? The wolf that's coming towards you?
Probably the wolf.
Yeah. Some of the civilians are startled at first, and they cover their mouths thinking that the monster is still nearby. Yogg wakes up what the bloody heck is going on? And Ez is like, Zhana, what's going on?
They're still here. They're all around.
You start panicking. It's getting so close. You have fire in your hands. You're trying to stop it, and you blink for a moment, and you're sitting right back on the log with Ez, and she's talking about her books again. What a weird sense of deja vu.
I'd probably break out in a cold sweat.
You all right? I mean, don't get me wrong, night hags are scary, but I don't think they're all chalked up to what they're worth.
I'm fine.
Maybe you should get some rest.
Maybe I'm just tired.
Yeah, seems to be a lot of that going around. Yeah, get some rest. I'll take over from here. She closes the books and sets them aside and stops drinking.
I can wake Nyla if you want company.
It's optional.
How's it go to wake Nyla?
Hey, Nyla?
What?
I'm not feeling exactly right as rain. would you be able to take my watch?
Oh yeah, you gonna throw up or something? Do you want anything? She's like already getting up.
Thank you. But I'll be fine. I just need to. I need to rest.
Okay. Is that like a cold? I'm like already like putting my hand on your forehead, but I obviously don't really know what I'm doing. So.
Yeah. She half-heartedly lies.
Yeah, it's just a cold.
Okay. Yeah. Then
I'll
you
be
sleep.
better.
I'm awake already. I'm great. And she like gets her blanket and like heaves over and like goes over to Ez by the fire.
And you both sit there. You're welcome to initiate conversation.
There's only one thing I was gonna potentially ask her about.
Sure.
I was gonna be like, hey, so I told the others, but maybe you've like seen something before. So have you ever heard of like tattoos coming out of nowhere, just like they're on you, and, like they grow?
I heard of people getting blackout drunk and waking up with something unremarkable on their lower ends.
Oh yeah. Seen that too. No, not that. No. Here, I'm just gonna show you. So I like probably have a lot of layers, so it takes a minute to, like get them all up, and then I'll like hold out my wrist.
And she goes, ooh, that's... Oh, how long's that been there? Oh... And she kind of like tilts her arm and looks at it.
Like a couple, 3 days? It was basically when we...
Only 3 days?
Or something, I don't know. How many days has it been since basically the winery? Because after the winery was when that started, I think.
It's been like 5-6 days.
5 or 6 days,
the first time.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll just say it's like, okay, it started with like a little one, and I like point to the original one, and I didn't even really pay much attention to it. And now I looked yesterday, and it's like really big now.
Have you... Tell me, do you know what caused this?
Remember I said like it has to do with like I'm like worried about my sword and stuff? I think it's all connected.
I haven't
don't know
heard
what's
jack
this
about your sword. What's
about.
this about a sword?
Oh, I thought I told people. I've been telling. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't tell you. Okay. Well.
And she kind of gives you
think-
like a look.
Just like Nyla's totally thinking out loud at this point. Okay. Well, I think my sword is my fiance because all these tattoos have to do with him, and I can feel him being really sad whenever I summon this weird sword that has been starting to pop up when I want it to.
Do you think you might be possessed?
Possessed? I don't know. Could I be possessed? Does that happen? I mean, I get possessed once by a ghost, but that was old news.
So the tattoos summon your sword? Is that what that is?
I think so.
What are
It
these...
comes out of my tattoos.
What are these symbols here? You got some weird shapes, but then some of these actually, like that one's a ring.
Mm-hmm.
That one's kind
That's
of
my engagement ring.
That one's a knife.
That's Reuven's hunting knife that he carves me cute little things.
Hold on, and she kind of pulls your glove back so she looks at your palm and she starts doing some palm reading on you.
Ooh.
What's this? Right here. Your lifeline. She kind of points to the line that circles your thumb.
What do you mean, what's what? I don't know this stuff is. And she like starts like looking around. This line right here, this is your love line, right? It comes down like this, and this is your lifeline. And I only point this out because at about the same point, if you kind of look at it following here and here, right there, they break off and they cross in your palm. You see that right there? Yes.
It represents star-crossed.
Okay.
Is everything, Doesn't
what
tell me
does
much.
star-crossed mean?
Ever heard of star-crossed lovers?
Yeah, I guess. Out of character, I forgot what that means. I just know everyone always says it.
It means two ill-fated beings.
Oh, okay. Ill-fated.
Two ill-fated beings that come undone at some point from either love or their circumstances.
I don't know how much you know about this guy. I don't know how much I know about you. Maybe take a look at your situation, really think hard about what's going on. You might get some answers.
Okay.
If it gets any worse, come talk to me.
Okay.
I don't know what I can do for you now.
You never seen anything like that before?
I've seen some things before, magic tattoos and the like. Some of the monks in the monasteries up in the mountains to the north used to tattoo their bodies with special pictures that depicted unique abilities. They used it when they fight, kind of like a totem.
Oh.
But they did that of their own free will, and it takes months, maybe even years of training to master.
Okay. Okay, I'll think about it. So how is this so this line thing, this is like a real thing? Like if I look at your little lines on your hand, you'll be able to tell things too?
Roll a persuasion check. Yeah, sure. And she peels back her own gloves and shows you. All right, look here. And she points to her line.
Okay.
You see this right here? She points to her thumb line. It's actually a really deep line. Vistana don't age.
What?
Yeah. That's why my line is so deep. See that right there? And it goes all the way up. You notice the lines in her hand are a bit, her hands are calloused. There's scars. There's cut marks from where she's, cut herself with her little silver hook on her thumb glove. There's a variety of crosses and things, so it's easier to see her lines, but there's also a lot more to take in. And that right there, and she kind of points. She does a basic palm reading and shows you. Her ancestry line runs way back. It goes deep, and it's very intricate, very tightly woven. Her lifeline is intricate and unique. And you learn a thing or two. And she kind of snickers to herself at one point and says, "You know, last time I tried to teach this, I nearly got my hand cut off."
What? Why? That's weird.
Well, let's just say Van Rickton ain't a fan of all Vistana tricks.
He almost cut off your hands?
Yeah, something like that.
That's really rude.
Well, here's the thing. You read that journal page, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that he and I don't exactly... We have our differences. He lost his family, I lost my family, and we both were indirectly responsible for both, if not directly, if I'm going to be perfectly frank.
Mm-hmm.
I look up to him like a father, you know?
Yeah.
But, there's still a lot unsaid, and honestly, it might be better that way.
Oh, between you guys? Or you mean about him now? Like to us?
Between the two of us.
Oh, yeah.
His son was 15, Nyla. We sold him out to Strahd himself.
Do you think he still holds it against you?
It was the thing that made him become the legend you know now.
Yeah.
He had nothing left to lose. And in a way, I guess I followed after him trying to atone, and I've learned the trade. I've become pretty adept at it in my own right, if I do say so myself, but there was always that blood, you know.
Well, were you pretty young when that happened, or?
I was about the age of his son. I was 15, too.
Oh, okay.
But,
I mean, so it's like he more holds his holds your blood against you more than anything else?
In a perfect world, Nyla, say you and Reuben had your happily ever after, and you had this beautiful baby girl, and a group of Vistana took her and sold her to an elder vampire, and then it was by your hand that you had to do her in, after Reuben had long since passed and she was all you had. Would you forgive us?
I don't think I'd hold it against an entire group of people. I mean, each person makes their own choices.
Well,
it sounds like you took care of the people that were responsible, right?
He killed
you're not
my
like
clan.
Yeah.
My mother, my father, my uncles, my brothers, my nephews.
Do you hold that against him?
She gives you a big, long look. It doesn't need words. There is a whole line of what-ifs that followed that tragic event. What if that had never happened and they went their separate ways? What if Ezmerelda followed the life of a normal Vistani and sang and danced and drank and just lived a life of merriment and tradition? What if she finally found a Vistana husband and had kids and carried on that tradition and there wasn't this world of darkness? Now there's scars. Now there's bad blood. And she kind of looks away. It is what it is.
So what are you gonna do if you, see him? If it's really tense?
We went our separate ways a couple of years back. Well, that's a lie. We went our separate ways a while ago.
Like, how long?
I've lost track of the years. It's hard to tell time when you just kind of wander. You don't have maps, you don't have calendars. He's getting on in his years. I heard that he came back to the place where it all started, and when I heard that, I didn't want him to do it alone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I don't know. I hope if you find him, maybe you guys can say what you need to say or something and have some peace, maybe?
If only it were that simple. Come on, let's wake everybody up. It's about time we should get going. Kinda
Hey,
like
but what it's worth, I think you're pretty cool. So,
well,
I think when people are like gossiping about you and stuff, I think it's really dumb. I've had to hold my tongue from yelling at like half people in Kresk, so that I don't know how much longer I can hold it. Just let you know.
she gives you a half-hearted smile. You ain't bad yourself, Nyla.
Thanks.
Come on, rise and shine. Hup, hup!
Morning.
How are you feeling, Zhana?
Much better.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Am I okay when I wake up?
Yeah, that's Hilde.
Hilde, your dreams that night are disturbing. You're
God damn
holding
it.
a rope. You beg the perpetrator not to cut it. You beg with all your might. And it doesn't cut, but it frays. One more first level spell slot vanishes. But this time, you don't wake up with the terrible inclination to dig. You're actually quite comfortable in your bed. The waking up in a cold sweat is far less horrible than it does when you're exposed to the elements.
Yeah, okay. Shit. I get up.
How many first level spell slots do you have?
1.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Everybody gets up and gets ready to pack.
Chit's got to go check in on the Barovians.
You know how they are. Broken spirits, kind of not entirely there sometimes. This is the best rest they've had in a while, and their eyes seem less droopy than they normally would be. The mother asks you, "What will you do now?"
We've got some of our own business. Dangerous, that. Look, we'd take you, but you'd be at risk to yourselves. It wouldn't be good. I reckon Velocky's about maybe, if you left right now, maybe a day's walk away. Maybe more on foot. It's the best I could do.
They give you a gracious nod, and after breakfast, how is that provided?
I can make another good berry meal.
Sure.
Kapow!
Maybe any extra for the road, eh?
Yeah, for if we run into
I meant for them, Nyla.
Oh, sorry.
Just in case things go bad.
Well, Nyla, if you want more berries, I can always make more.
No.
Well, 10 berries would give, there's 9 of you right now, including Yogg and the civilians, so you could, in theory, give the civilians berries and still have 1 extra.
We'll give them 2 and we'll keep the extra one.
You send them on their way, and they shuffle down the road, and as they were, they're...
Chance is also going to give them a heavy crossbow that he has from the...
How many crossbows do you
He
have?
had 2. He had 2.
Yeah, because one was from Death House. Didn't you take one from Death House?
Yeah,
I wasn't there for Death House.
Yeah, that was
He has he has a heavy crossbow that he's kind of kept in the cart, and he kind of unhooks it from a backpack and shuffles over and hands him the rest of his crossbow bolts. Got about 10 of them.
The son takes it and graciously thanks you.
He's like, "It's not so bad. Crank it back, point, shoot. Should be easy. Aiming's not really that much of a problem. Hopefully you don't have to use it, and well, if you make it to Valoki, you can sell the thing. I better be worth a little pretty penny."
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, be safe. If we come to Valoki, I don't think we ever caught your names.
Oh.
Give me a second.
Either way, well, she's doing that. What I mean to say is, if you make it to Valoki, and, well, we might head back there ourselves at some point. It'd be nice to see a friendly face. And it'd be nice to know that you made it all right. Some of the ladies, they've got soft hearts. But you can tell he's definitely talking about himself. He wants to know.
Yeah, right.
Edin Slavich. This is my sister Rosie. This is my mother Isabella Slavich.
It's a pleasure. I'm Shantz. Hilde, Zhana, Nyla, Ezmerelda, Yog. We wish you safe travels. And should we be back in Valoki, we'll ask for you and check to see you're all right.
He
Godspeed,
nods.
yeah?
May the morning Lord be with you.
And you part
Yeah.
ways. So,
All right, well-
Edin, Anne, and Isabella. Okay. I'll change their last names later, but it's some Barovian name that I can't think of because I, for whatever reason, am not creative this morning. You continue down the road. Who's riding with who?
I can ride in our cart.
I can be driving. I was driving earlier, so.
I'll be in Ez's cart, I guess. Unless Yog usually likes to sit in the back of the other cart, but if he doesn't want to, if he wants to switch it up, then I'll sit in the.
Give him the space.
Yeah, so I figured. Yeah, okay, so I'll just take it. The cart with Ez.
All right, Chance, where are you going?
Chance will ride shotgun in the cart if nobody's taking it. Or if they were, I was writing notes at the time. I wasn't sure. So we have
I think Hilde and Zhana are in, and Yog are in a cart,
okay.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Nyla and Ez are in her fancy wagon.
I'll ride in the big cart as well, or drive, or
You all travel down the road. Because Hilde is in the lead, I would like you to roll me a survival check.
God dang it.
Oh my god.
That's just mean.
So here's what
That's
happens.
rude.
Hilde, your mind starts to wander. Chance, your mind is also wandering. You both had very interesting nights. You start traveling down the road. You're still on the road, but
Oh my god.
something strange happens. You remember where you camped, and you remember coming around this bend once before. And you swear, Hilde, like your mind is fixed on this obsession that something is wrong, something is terrible with this place, and you literally watch at one point, be it a trick of the light or this world actually having this strange sway. The road moves away from the tree line and starts winding as the fogs hide it from you, almost as if it was a creature of its own. You're moving strange places. Chance, you wake up at one point from your mental slumber, and you see Hilde driving this cart off the path at one point, and it threatens to tip over.
he's like, whoa. Easy does it, and
The
he'll try to
horse-
like even reach over. Hilde, you gotta watch out for those ruts like that. The cart can't quite take much of that. Is everything all right? He's like looking around, like,
She's just, she let go of the ring and like she's kind of curled back up on herself and looks at you. She looks shaken. Can you drive?
yeah, Hilde, yeah, sure. Yeah, you only had to ask.
Zana kind of pokes her head out.
Why did we stop?
Oh, just a small bump.
What's going on up there?
We're all right. Just switching reins. He kind of gives like a little sheepish wave, and then switch with Nyla and takes the reins. And
Chance, survival
Hilde.
check.
all right.
But yes, go on.
I was correcting. He said Nyla. I said Hilde.
So, yeah.
Oh shit.
It's okay, he's
God.
holding mad too. Chance!
Oh no.
Chance, what are you doing?
You don't notice until several hours during the day. You've wasted precious sunlight. Ezmerelda starts mumbling to Nyla, we should have been there by now. Chance, you see the road starting to twist and turn for you, and it keeps wanting to take you further and further off the path. And at one point, you think you see the Barovians with the crossbow in the distance, and you keep riding and they vanish. And that, Chance, is when you realize something has been playing tricks on you. You are right back where you started.
Oh my gosh.
And it is
Question.
currently 2 in the afternoon.
Why haven't we not made any progress? I look at both Hildegard and Chance.
Yeah, she just jumps off the cart and starts pacing. Something doesn't want us to find him, and she's just pacing around like you can see. She's agitated.
Calm down. How about you both rest in the cart? Because you both seem pretty agitated. I'm not gonna lie here.
That road just looks like, maybe it looks familiar, but I don't think that's where we can.
Hey,
We've got to be.
Hey, Nyla, could you go see what's going on? They're yelling.
Yeah. So I'll like hop off. Like, hi guys. What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong at all.
Everybody straightens up.
There seems to be some sort of miscommunication. We're doing just fine, Zhana.
There's no miscommunication, Chance. Something doesn't want us to get closer to the mill.
Oh, why? Why are you saying that?
Because the road keeps changing and twisting and making weird patterns.
Is it like when that one time I thought I saw Reuben hanging and it wasn't him? You know? Like, what if it's one of those things?
Or were they animals that you saw? Or
Animals.
Everybody's like confused.
anyways, I recommend that maybe you two should go sit in the cart and I'll drive. And
Okay.
I
or
recommend meditation.
If
Meditate. And he's like grumpy.
Okay.
He kind of waddles back to the cart and sits, and he's all very, very grumpy.
Angry orange eyebrows.
I mean, we could maybe have 2 people kind of like making sure they're like looking out, and maybe if the road like goes different for 2 people, then you know it's like a trick. I don't know. I'm just making something up.
Yeah. Maybe we close our eyes and let our minds guide us. That sounds about right.
I didn't say anything like that.
I'm
Chance.
sure we're just
Yes.
fine.
And the
Looks familiar, but
sibling
it's
fight
not.
begins.
I
So
leaned
very much-
towards Nyla and like whispered, "It's like I don't know. They were both in the front, and I don't know where they were driving."
Oh yeah, that's true.
Um,
I mean, we could have Ezmerelda too, maybe.
yeah, maybe.
What, you don't think so?
Well, I don't know. I'm fine with whatever. I don't know if they should drive though.
Oh,
So
well, you guys both seem like you need a break anyway.
Hilde's
Right,
already
Hilde
in the
and
cart.
Yeah. Okay. See, they're fine. They're ready to take a break.
Okay.
So who's taking lead, Zhana or...
If you want to take lead, you can, but I don't mind leading.
Ez is not in this conversation, it's up to you.
I'll just. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. If you think you can do it,
Okay
that's
then.
fine.
And then I'll go to lead. Please don't. Come
If you
on.
feel.
Oh my god!
Gosh. I will tell Ez though, like as I'm getting back in the cart, I'm like, I think they're kind of convinced that the woods is kind of playing tricks on them, and they say the road keeps moving around. I don't think we've like really gone anywhere for the past.
Alright, let's see what happens. We'll know for sure. 3rd time's a charm, right?
Right.
Boosh! And the cart goes ka-chunk. Zhana, you thought you saw an animal, and in your mind you wanted to run it over, and somehow your cart missed the road.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
And once again, oh look, there's that big tree that you camped next to. It is currently 6 in the afternoon.
Oh my god.
So if Nyla or Ez approaches, I'll just defeated. So defeated. Please take the front. Please.
Okay. We could try.
Hang on a moment. There might be something to that. Ez starts getting low to the ground. She picks up the dirt and she kind of rubs it in her fingers and sniffs it, and she kind of like slowly prowls the road, like about 3 meters ahead, looks around, checks the tree. She pulls out her hatchet and she'll like whack 1, whack 2, whack 3, and she like looks at all 3 of them. No shifting, no movement. All right, follow me. And she gets back up on her cart and cadet cha.
Can I help her too? So like potentially she could roll with advantage.
Absolutely, Nyla.
Yay!
Ez. All right, Ez is rolling with advantage thanks to Nyla's help. What is going on?
Oh my god.
We're just never going.
Well, with a DC 10, it gets you a little farther. The fog starts
we're doing it.
eating away the road, and you get to about here before night falls.
That's gonna cost me a spell slot just for a thing road trip.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to push it in the night?
What is this? What is going on?
I don't know.
All right, Nyla, I'm gonna need you to help me one more time.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
I need you to take this bag of salt right there. You see that?
Uh-huh.
Just take a handful of it, and every so often just give a pinch behind the cart, all right?
Okay. Is this supposed to do something?
Like the old wives' tale. You spit a bit of salt, throw it over your shoulder. Just do that behind the cart, just a pinch.
Do I have to literally throw it behind my shoulder?
No, you can just toss it out back. Just pinch it.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
All right. And
So I'll do that.
Ezmerelda's going to try to push it for Hilde's sake. 4 more hours of travel go by. Come on. Guys, what the fuck is wrong with the algorithm on Roll20?
Messed up, yo.
All right.
23 though. Better.
Middle
Yay!
of the night. Like, it was 6 p.m. by the time you got there. Night had fallen. You pushed 4 more hours into the night. You finally get to the old bone grinder. The salt seems to have worked.
Jesus.
And as soon as you start seeing lights in the distance, several lights actually. Oh my god, there's a whole bunch of lights up at the old bone grinder. Ez pulls over and she kind of calls back, "Hey!" And she points to the lights up ahead.
Can I do like a perception check?
Absolutely.
Cool.
I'm gonna try to do one too.
Sure. In fact, one of you assist the other. It doesn't matter. You both put your hands flat above your brow and you kind of laser scope your vision up there. You see 2 camps, 2 enormous camps outside the old bone grinders, several campfires, lots of tents, wagons. There's a lot of people up there.
Well, I have a question. Didn't we burn down the bone grinder?
Yeah, you did, didn't ya? Irina shot that arrow.
Yeah. Is it still intact?
It's cover of night.
Should we approach them? And kind of like check it out?
Maybe leave the carts, go up.
Yeah.
You want to send a scout, or do you want to do this all at once?
Well, I can probably go. I could turn into an animal and kind of like meander my way over there.
Ez nods.
That's a very good idea.
Sure.
Let's see. What should I do?
Hurry back, all right?
Yeah. Well, I guess I could be like a cat, and it's night, so I get to be a wild shape into a black cat and like still. Before I do, I turn over. Should I be extra sneaky?
I mean, yeah, until you know if they're okay.
Okay. I'm gonna cast my new favorite spell of the day. Pass without a trace on myself. Then I wild shape into a cat, and then I stealthily make my way over there.
The
Zhana,
stealthiest cat in the world.
roll me that stealth.
4.
What kind of cat is this?
I am a black cat
Oh.
with golden eyes, but I am shrouded in smoke and shadow, so I'm a shadow cat.
Ooh. Very nice, very nice. Zhana, this is what you see. You come to the old bone grinder. Half is littered with one faction. The other seems to be littered with another. And 4 faces stand in between. With this knowledge, would you like to investigate further or go back?
I will investigate further and kind of use my perception skills to kind of like listen to what everyone's talking to, like get the local gossip and everything.
Yeah, give me, I'm gonna use your passive perception to kind of hear what you hear, because this is an overall sneak. You're kind of doing some reconnaissance here.
Okay.
Tensions are high. It is very clear that these two are separated for reasons that I'm sure you can guess. These guys over here are loud, boisterous, throwing things about. These ones over here look downbroken on their luck. They look completely run out and underprepared. And these four are kind of brainstorming, but they kind of reached a side conversation. And they're talking about, they're kind of talking about masks and some of their stories in the past, and it's a little weird.
Okay. Is the windmill intact?
No,
Okay.
it is burnt to ashes.
Okay. I'm gonna sneak back to the group and spiel.
All right. So, Zhana, I'm going to remove you here. And I'm going to put you back over here. Shortly after the cat returns.
And then I approach and I drop my form, reverting back. It looks like they were refugees, both Barovian and Vistani. They seemed divided. Some of them were discussing a few things, like stories. The bone grinder's still burned down, so we know maybe the hag's not here or have returned yet.
Unless she's like in disguise.
Maybe. But if we do approach them, we can probably help them to see what's really going on here. Why everyone's evacuated.
Hilde, do you know like exactly where your dream was around this place? Like exact location?
Where was the obelisk? Like, how close was it to the bone grinder?
A ways back and down a cliff, if Nyla remembers correctly.
Oh yeah, because I fell off that
I'm sorry.
cliff.
Yeah, remember that cliff you fell out? Actually, I don't know that. I was busy goring a hag. So
No, you totally did, because
oh, that
you
cliff.
came and got me. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You were
That cliff.
playing with like the children, I think, and you fell.
Yeah. So it's there? It's down there? Oh, yeah, they were actually playing around some weird stone things. Is that what you're talking about? The kids were?
Stone thing?
Right.
Yeah, there was like these weird things. They were like dancing around them. And there's like bones everywhere. Or teeth or something, I think. I don't remember. We go to a lot of creepy places.
No, I was just gonna say, can I make a perception to try and see what direction that place would be from where we are right now?
This would be a survival, because you're trying to kind of recount the steps and figure out the landscape. All right.
Not bad, not bad.
The bone grinder is on a hill. You travel up that hill, and then after some point it turns into it becomes a cliff, and there's a pretty steep fall. And Nyla explains that that's where this strange obelisk construction is. And you're kind of looking around, and she kind of points, it was like in that-ish direction, and you're thinking, if you really want to go about this being undetected, you would have to skirt around the bone grinder and be dangerously close to the forest this time of night.
I look at the others. That's it. I just look at them.
Well, there might be more refugees, like Eden and his family. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't just walk up and approach.
Then maybe we should approach.
And then we can go look at that place if you want to, Hilde, if you feel like that's where we need to go.
Aye.
Fine.
You said it was Barovians and Vistani, right?
Yes. They were very clearly divided, so there might be some hostilities.
Yeah, strange still. Well, let's see what the hubbub's about.
All right, yeah. And Cadet, you guys travel up the path and come to a peculiar sight. Please begin play right here. You come upon a scene, a very concerning scene. Uprooted Barovian villagers tend to their wounds, while an entire Vistani caravan sits parked by the ashen ruins of this once dreadful place. Tensions are high. Nobody trusts one another. No one except the Vistani, who are already prepared to face the winter outside their homes. That is. Shelters have been made around the ruins. The Vistani are loud and boisterous. The villagers are broken-spirited, mad, and many, and there is a very clear divide between these two. Keeping the peace are 4 fresh faces that seem unfamiliar with this place. You can tell because, unlike you all, they still have a vibrant hue in their demeanor.
Okay. So showing us those guys, yeah?
Yeah, they seem like
I
the
don't-
leader.
Hildy?
Actually, I don't see my token.
I think you
Is
just have to put it on.
Yeah, they seem like us. And Chance is gonna walk forward, very curious about these 4 individuals.
Ezmerelda starts walking forward, and she casts a long side glance, and several Vistana lower their drinks and see her and nudge others, and they kind of point and gesture, and she keeps her head down. You approach these new 4 individuals. They look like adventurers, just like you.
Huh.
And they stop talking, and one of them goes, "Ooh, over there!" And the man with the feathered hat turns around. He has an eye patch. Well, didn't think I'd find fresh faces here. He gives a fanciful bow.
How do you do? Say, and he kind of looks about, he says, we've, sort of just arrived. I mean, in these parts. I don't suppose there's a campfire we might be able to share, or learn what exactly is going on here.
The woman in green kind of like whispers to the others, like, "Oh, you thinking, mate?" And this one over here is like, "Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine."
Reading her lips, what does she say?
She turns to the others and says, "Are you sure these might be some suspicious folk?" And this one says, "I'm sure it'll be fine." And once again, he pipes up and he says, "Pleasure to make your acquaintance. The name's Killian Barwolf." And he holds out a hand to you, Chance.
He takes it and
And
gives it
he-
a good shake. I'm Coleman. Friends call me Chance.
It's a nice name. And who might you be?
Oh, I'm Nyla.
He takes off his hat and does a sweep to his chest. "Pleasure." And he puts it back on his head. Let me
yeah.
introduce the others. Where are
Yeah,
my
yeah.
manners? And he gestures over to the woman in green. She does a little curtsy. This woman wears a thorny dress, and her appendages kind of taper off into this bark skin almost. "Oh, how do you do? My name's Lavinia Rose." And below you is she kind of looks like strawberry shortcake. Her hair's pink. She wears cocoa browns and some ivory whites. She's toting around a large candy cane, and instead of a large wooden spoon in her hand, it's actually a mixing bowl. And she goes, "Oh, well, how do you do? The name's Sherry Shermans." And there's a man in effectively Death Knight armor. And he puts his shield on the ground, his shield with the big skull engraved in it. "How do you do? Darren Logris." And he shakes all of your hands confidently. And I will show you who they are. Here is Taryn. You see this man. Here is Sherry. She's a halfling, and she seems to be around her like mid-30s, even though she's very childlike. This one is Lavinia. She has this beautiful dress, and her limbs spindle out into that bark like I told you. And here seems to be the face of the party, Killian Barwolf.
Zhana be thirsty.
She's thirsty.
Oh my god. Well, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintances. I've got to say, you're a sight for sore eyes. We've not seen many adventurers like us. We've heard of some that have been ill-fated, I suppose. Of course, if that's you call us adventurers in the first place.
Ill-fated is a rather remarkable word for it. Yeah, ill-fated seems to be a defining word for this place. Oh, but you should ask him! Ask him the questions, you should! Yeah, you're right. Hey, listen. We were summoned here for special orders, you see. And he shows you a letter. You see, we came here at the plight of one, Colion
Indrovich, if I'm reading this right. We were delivered this and followed with haste. I mean, after all, whom are we to turn down a fair maiden in dire straits? And he hands you a letter.
It's the same letter we got.
If this was a show, Nyla would deadpan look at the camera.
It reads, Hail thee of might and valor. I am a lowly servant of Barovia. Send honor to thee. We plead for thy so desperately needed assistance. The love of my life, Irina Koliana, has been affected by an evil so deadly that even the good people of our village cannot protect her. She languishes from her wound, and I would have saved her from this menace. There is much wealth in this community. I offer all that might had to thee and thy fellows if thou shalt, but answer my desperate plea. Come quickly, for her time is at hand. All that I shall have shall be thine. Signed, the Burgomaster.
Well, pray tell, how long have you fellas been here in Barovia? I mean,
Well, Lavinia pipes up. We got here just a few nights ago. But there was something attacking the village, you see, and we rounded up all we could and we made a refugee camp here. It was some 3?
Oh, yeah, it was 3 nights ago.
what
Well,
was attacking the village?
if you reckon by me, it was some kind of Dullahan. Heard tale of the headless kind that ride up and down the roads. It's not just the Barovians that were cursed out of their homes. There's these fine festive folk over here as well. They're called the Vistana, Ezmerelda pipes up. Ah, well, I didn't see you there. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I didn't quite catch your name.
What's she gonna say?
Nope.
Well, don't worry so much about that. Look, I've got some bad news for you fellas.
Oh, yeah, we've been looking for the Burgermaster everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. They haven't seen any sign of the family.
Yeah.
I'm afraid the family's a little indisposed. Particularly, the father of sorts might be buried out back behind the church and whatever's left of that village.
Oh,
Whatever you were hoping to get out of this, whatever treasures or the like, I'm afraid none of that's going to happen. And what's worse, you're not likely able to go back home. Not the way you came.
What do you mean? We just came out the gates not far from here.
Aye. And if you tried to go back,
Excuse me, can I see that letter?
Yeah, sure. Here you go. And Lavinia hands you the letter.
Can I? How fresh does this look to me?
Roll an
That's a good
investigation. You know,
oh no.
2 natural ones!
Hold on. I need to see how this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, Roll20's
What
been
the frick?
pulling some bull lately.
I call shenanigans.
Alright. Now, you see, this begs the question. Lo, I am the DM. I was but a special guest and an NPC, but before I became this position, I have no idea how you guys came to Barovia or what tempted you here.
Well, actually, Chancel, maybe he'll recount the story.
Yeah.
Look, see here, fellas. And he kind of brings them all around. And I imagine, like, a lot of us are kind of moving around a campfire or something, chit-chatting. But
Yeah, around this one.
he's like, well, see, we were like you once, sort of. We were out in Goodmead. It was, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. Small little town out in the, well, deep in the coast. Sort of up near, what was it, Icewind Dale or Baldur's Gate? One of the two. Up there high. Cold. Kind of like this. We were known, there was a fella by the name of Will Pebble. Not exactly a friendly face that I'd recommend. He was a dwarf, I think, was it? He looks to the others.
Yeah, he was a dwarf. He sucked.
Yeah. A merchant needed us some assistance. Taking his caravan back between two places. Well, he thought that'd be an easy job, and once the winter was, well, really getting bad, we'd figured we'd be most of us trapped in Goodmead for what looks like a long winter, and most of my gold was all but lost. I maybe done a bit too much gambling, and, well, Nyla, she here was working at the bar, and, well, I'm not actually sure about the others. But we all sort of got onto this little contract, wandered our way. It was our first watch, didn't see much. He let us get a little bit of rest, it was real early like, so we wandered. And sure enough, when we woke, that bastard dwarf was gone.
That's quite the
We
tale you're accounting, friend.
We're in some sort of strange woods. Different, in a way. Like, where we'd been sleeping had been changed somehow. When we woke, we tried to find where we were. And when we found a road...
Well, we got attacked by wolves first. Don't forget that. That's
I won't.
yes.
Of course. Naturally, the woods weren't exactly as kind as, well, good or good be. We travelled down the road and found a body. Something rough. Relatively recent, I suppose. On that body was a letter just like yours.
Like exact wording and everything.
And he kind of looks to the other companions who kind of share this grimace. So you're meaning to tell me we got ourselves trapped in this land? There's no Irina, as it were. And now we just need to get out. Is that it?
Well, if it were that simple. But if you don't believe me, you can always see for yourself. Kind of like munching on like some dried jerky.
There is an arena, but, you know, we kind of helped her already. So...
Well, it looked like you beat us to it. Now what do we do?
And everybody just kind of sits there like, now what? They don't know what to do. Well, we've been helping these fine folk here and there, both sides. There's still the issue of they can't go back to their village, and I'm not sure if you noticed, but almost as if on cue, Lavinia's like, oh, and she starts putting up fingers as she notices her dress get a little more weathered and brownish. Looks like it's gonna start snowing. Sure enough.
Well, this place gets damned cold.
Moments
so you want to keep
later,
warm.
snow starts to fall. And
So go ahead. I didn't know if you had something.
oh yeah, just one last thing.
Yeah, sure.
Lavinia starts to shake, and you see the leaves on her dress fluff out like the fur of an animal, and she's like, "Oh my, dearie me! Oh."
Excuse me. I don't mean to presume, but are you like me? Are you also druid?
Druid, yes. Elf, no. I'm a dryad.
Oh.
The tree situation's a little complicated, but I make do, and she gestures to her dress.
It's gonna be a little hard for plants here. Sorry.
Well, there's nothing to it, I suppose. Give me a moment, you fellas. I'll set up camp.
And Sherry goes off and starts doing some things, and she starts mixing feverishly in her bowl and chipping off pieces of the candy cane and tossing it in.
Oh my.
Look, you guys seem real nice. So, just gonna warn you, it's weird here. Like, very weird here. Besides a headless horseman running around. That's not the weirdest thing.
Well, I wouldn't be too worried about us. After all, we're kind of known in some parts. Oh, yes. Tell him, Killian. You're always better with the stories. And Killian's like, well. And he kind of mutters something in Gaelic. And he starts to regale you with the tale. You see, where we're from, they call us Twin Mask. You get your bunch of ragtag adventuring type, but then you never hear the tales of the ones that actually make it. And we're some of them, down to the South Province. We slayed a blue dragon tormenting an entire dwarven citadel, saved a gnome community from economic downfall. It was Lavinia's idea. She wanted to donate the proceeds. And Taryn kind of gets quiet. There was a fifth member, Jerome. God rest his soul, Cutstone. But, you kind of get the idea through their tale. I'll spare you the details. They're kind of peaking in their current adventuring career. They've slayed a blue dragon. They've stormed the citadels. They've saved a village. So they're known as local heroes in a province to the southern lands.
Can I roll an insight check just to see if he's, like, overly boasting? Kind of, like, maybe he's trying to, like, puff his chest out to see, like, oh, yeah, we're all these, like, cool guys over here.
Sure, yeah.
Cool.
They're really like level 1.
20 taunts me so.
So, Zhana, you get the fact that Killian's a bit of a showman. He might be flourishing some of the details, but it seems like they're all more or less in agreement of the story. Hilde, you get the very same thing, except that the one detail he's probably failing to mention is why are they here kind of a thing. But it doesn't feel like anything is out of hostility or secrecy. It's just seems like a bit of a jump from A to B, and now they're just kind of here.
I'm sorry. I've never heard of anyone like Warrior Group. I'm sorry.
No, we take no offense, ma'am. Yeah, I bet you get your types all the time. I'm surprised this place doesn't have more of you.
I think it's because a lot of them just like died.
There seems to be like a very uncomfortable kind of like air in the group every time you're like, they probably died, or they were probably eaten, or this place is weird.
Sorry.
Taryn is the one that pipes up, and he turns to you, Nyla, and he's like, there seems to be a lot of death in these parts. Could you elaborate? We've only been met with so much in so little time. I've never seen poor folks. And he gestures to the Barovians who, if these oppressed people didn't look oppressed as it was, now they're forced out of their homes in a situation, camping in conditions that they weren't prepared for.
Yeah, no, understand the feeling. That's what happened to us too. Just it all happened so fast, and then a bunch of other stuff was happening, and it's hard to process. I guess the whole land is run by this guy that is not great. On top of that, there's weird like stuff that has to do with nature. Sometimes like your mind plays tricks on you. There was like at this place there was like a bunch of hags that were selling it's like really awkward. Like pies made out of like kids.
Oh,
so
mercy. Like Lavinia's shocked. Like, they all kind of stir, and around that time, Sherry comes back. All right, the house is made up. Bedtime whenever you folks are ready to go to bed. This whole thing's gonna turn in. Ta-ta, get some good rest, eat well. And she pinches you on the cheek, Zhana, before she, like, starts waddling her way into the house.
Night. That's embarrassing.
Don't mind Sherry. That's just how she is. I got a cramp in my right cheek for a week. And Lavinia's like, oh, he wasn't talking about his face.
Well,
Oh.
So what will you fellas be doing now?
Well, that's a good question. And they all kind of sit back and, like, really think about their situation.
I've got a proposition for you, if you'll hear it.
Do tell.
Well, from what I can make out, something seems to have, run these good folk out of their home, as well as the Vistana as well. He's going to kind of look over his shoulder. Is Ezmerelda just off away?
She has her back turned to you all, staring into the campfire, and it seems like this guy's slowly approaching her.
Look.
I'm
He kind of
gonna
leans
move.
forward, kind of to Killian. He kind of lowers his voice a little bit. See those gypsies? They're not just travelers and thieves. There's something more. They've got, in a way, I suppose, they're your best ticket out of here. I don't know that I can say much more, and how much I really believe myself. But if we were to go help, maybe sort of free that village of Barovia, then we might be able to, you might be able to sort of get in good favour with the Vistana. It's a thought. Beyond that, I'm afraid, you lot are just stuck here just like we are.
I'm hearing the cutting of your jib, mate. I like it. It's just one problem. Yeah, we want our ticket out of here, same as anyone else. But, we're not exactly the type to leave the destitute out and alone. Isn't that right? And Taryn's like, we'll do anything we can to help. In fact, we'll go with you to hunt down this menace. We also feel responsible. And Taryn's like, guilty. Guilty? Is that the word? Yes, guilty. We feel guilty.
Well, if we had your help, we might be able to sort of, split the two up. I reckon with both our parties, we'd be able to clear the town a little faster.
We'll call it square then. And he holds out his hand. By morning rise, we ride out.
Chance looks over to the rest of his party.
We go back to Barovia village and see what's going on there.
Whatever's happened, something has driven these poor folk out of their homes. They've got nowhere to go, and they won't make it to Veloki. Not all of them, at least. And they're certainly not going to make it standing here in the burnt-out remnants of this mill. So we go in, find whatever's spooked them out, take care of it, especially if, it is what we think it is, and then we get these people back.
Mhm.
Screw Strahd, screw his invitation. All we need, I'd rather see these folk put back to decent home. It's something we can do. It's something within our power.
Yeah, but we gotta remember Hilde.
Speaking
have
of
time
for
Hilde,
that,
We come now to this scene. Hilde, you're making your way towards Ezmerelda, and one of the Vistani bandit captains starts whispering to her in her ear, and he catches his eye on you, Hilde, and he turns back, says, "One more little thing," and then starts walking away. Ezmerelda doesn't move.
She gets closer. She's glaring at the guy. I don't know if they have an eye contact or something, but she's just glaring at him before she gets next to Ezmerelda.
Yeah, he walks back and he does a drunken bow, and the Vistana, they're loud, they're playing their fun music, and one of the lady Vistanas is like, "She blows you a kiss."
Yeah, she doesn't really care about that one. She's just gonna turn to Ez. What did he want? Did you know him? Well, do you know him?
I may not know him by name exactly, but he knows me. We all do.
What did he want?
It ain't exactly a secret that I work with Van Rickton, nor is it a secret that they're in league with Strahd. But we're Vistana.
You just let us know if they're any trouble.
They should be fine. It's just complicated family matters. You understand?
Sure. Yeah.
Ezmerelda stays quiet, but there's an awkward line she's kind of standing in. She can't exactly stand on one side or the other, so this campfire is the one she's going to call home for tonight.
You mind if I join you? I don't really have a mind to focus on their stories over there.
I got a bottle of wine in my cart.
That would be perfect.
I'll be right back. Oh, what was that?
I'd like to I'd like to think that I'm better company than sticks and stones.
At least those'll do something, you know?
Oh, Jesus.
And yeah, she goes to her cart and brings back a bottle, and you both sit there and you drink. You guys are welcome to roleplay out the rest of the night, but first, I think we're gonna have a little break.
Sounds good.